Yo, it's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. I'm ready to smell fear, smell a lot. My competitors flex here, they smelled I was hot. I want it all, excess, the sex, and much success, stress us. I want it all, no less. Come on.
What up? It's your boy T-Bear in the reaction. About to do some reaction to some wrestling move origin, and we want to take into the history of one of the iconic moves right now that's so iconic they even got his own party. That is none other than the Superkick. Well known to me from the Shawn Michaels with the Sweet Chin music, to me us using Superkick and from down the line to Lance Storm, Steven Richards, Sean Hara, as well as the Bullet Club, mainly the Young Bucks, and later on Adam Cole, everybody Undisputed, Dolph Ziggler, and many others. So without further ado, let's check out the history of his Superkick. Let's get it.
1, 2, is this on? The Superkick is today one of wrestling's most popular moves. Watch any mainstream wrestling promotion, and you're bound to see multiple wrestlers using the move.
And Usos.
It's instantly recognizable, and unlike many other popular moves, the way the Superkick is hit hasn't changed a great deal since its first use. The infancy of the Superkick dates back to the 1980s, where gentleman Chris Adams would be its innovator, referring to it initially as the judo kick, as Adams leaned on his martial arts background when originating the move. Adams, who is a black belt in judo, would drive the sole of his foot into the opponent's head, with the chin being determined as the best and safest place to aim for. The force at which Adams would execute the Superkick helped make the move seem so devastating, as it looked as though he would take his opponent's head clean off their shoulders. The momentum Adams would get when stepping into the move also helped add to the visual. Adams didn't start out using the Superkick as a finisher though, but once he began slapping his thigh when hitting the move, the crowd began to pop more for it.
Chris backs up. There it is!
In its simplest form, the move was a high side thrust kick, but Chris Adams hit the Superkick as if it were an uppercut, a technique that would continue to be adopted by most that hit the move after Adams. But there were also variations of the move that were more like the more traditional thrust kick, such as the Savat kick, which was used by the likes of the Great Kabuki, Yokozuna, Rikishi, and Umaga. Glacier, a martial arts expert like Chris Adams, would also put his own stamp on the move with the spinning cryonic kick. But it didn't always have the results as intended.
But Nash, it's very well documented. What happened?
There's the cryonic kick.
Nevertheless, it would be Shawn Michaels who would later come to popularize the Superkick after seeing how well it worked for Adams.
Seen it from Chris Adams. He just started doing it in matches, and I thought, well, that's awesome. So it's one of those things you incorporate, and then when Marty and I got together, we're doing double ones.
Go.
At first, Shawn would use it as a setup move before hitting his finisher at the time, the teardrop suplex.
Pat Patterson goes, you know, Shawn, the kick, the kick is the bang. You hit a big pop. He goes, that should be the finish. He goes, the kick is good, and then the other one sort of comes down. And so I was like, all right.
Yup.
Patented crescent kick by the champion. Hooks the leg. The referee's there. It's over.
By the summer of 1993, HBK would make the Superkick his exclusive finishing move, with it first being referred to as chin music.
On Radford's sternum. You hear that? How about a little chin music?
That's when he just stepped into it. Radford.
Before being tweaked to sweet chin music.
1, 2, yeah! Sweet chin music.
Michaels would begin to stomp his feet to signal the Sweet Chin music was coming as the Heartbreak Kid tuned up the band. The Sweet Chin music would earn Shawn much success over the next few years, as it became one of the most famous finishes in wrestling. Shawn's version of the Superkick differed from Adams and the Savat kick, as Michaels would lean away from the target to reduce his thrusting power, and thus the power of the kick, doing so in order to protect his opponent from being kicked hard in the face. However, martial arts specialists such as Eric Bischoff were not fans of HBK's technique.
That was just a horseshit super kick. When all of your body weight is leaning away from your intended target, that ain't a kick. Leaning way back where your head's about 8 inches off the mat while you're kicking up in the air, you couldn't crack a fucking egg with that kick.
In WWE, the move would largely only be allowed to be used by Shawn, bar a few exceptions. But this would begin to change following Michaels' retirement, as we would begin to see more wrestlers making the Superkick a part of their moveset. But interestingly, it wasn't being used as a finisher anymore. The use of the move would actually become far more common outside of the WWE, as the Young Bucks made it a staple of their arsenal, with Superkick parties being featured in many of their matches.
Superkick party! Superkick! Superkick!
The overuse of the move would lead it to become less impactful. It would still get a good reaction, but it was hard to buy it as a finish to a match when so many wrestlers were using it as a setup move.
The most abused move in wrestling today is a super kick. Guys are going to be, they're probably going to be pissed at themselves a couple years, 3 years down the road when all of a sudden a super kick is no more than a clothesline.
So the double kick. Yep, the double one. They're gonna do the one.
The over-reliance on the leg slap would also start to take away from the effectiveness of the move, with WWE even telling their talent to avoid slapping their leg when hitting any type of kick.
Instead of taking your hand and starting closer to your body, some of our talents, they reach way out here. So you see their hand way the hell out here, separated from their body, and then they come slap. That's my problem. As a talent, you're being too obvious.
The Superkick remains a legendary wrestling move. It was smartly adapted from judo into pro wrestling by gentleman Chris Adams, and then taken to new heights by Shawn Michaels. Digging deep in the gut! As it continues to take the heads off opponents to this very day.
Welcome to the party. Thanks for coming, Sammy.
Even though it's not much of a finisher anymore, Dolph Ziggler is doing his best to try and change that. The Superkick always looks great and can be hit on anyone from anywhere.
There you go, the Shawn Michaels, the Shawn Business one, That's like one of the best catches right there.
Which is definitely the making of a successful wrestling move in this day and age.
What's your name?
Here you go.
Stan.
Shawn swears.
I just can't stand.
And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, do check out our latest video on Wrestling Move Origins, where we look back at the history of the DDT. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
This was good. Stop.
Yes, sir.
Right, stop. Other than that, this was good though. So if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.